Hey y'all, well, I'm back again for part 2, or part D, of talking about tips on dating trans-intersex. Wanted to bring up and say my shout out over here to one of my gals. She brought up a couple of good points. Just to sort of reiterate and review quickly kind of what we went over. A lot of it was don't call us tranny shemale. Sometimes we're looked at in a heightened way as who we are compared to a genetic girl. Respect. We love compliments. Don't ask her why, but don't get me wrong, you got to also be able to ask questions. And speaking of, while I'm at that one, here's a good point that one of my friends wrote. She said, appearances can be deceiving. Just because we might have once played big, strong men doesn't mean we're now dykes. A towering sunflower is no less a beautiful, delicate flower than a tea rose, simply different forms. If you don't know, ask. That's one really good point that one of my gal friends, holla out to you girl, brought up. And that's a really good point about that. Women pre-op, not really showing some forms of feeling uncomfortable and inadequate when questioning of their femininity, not to expect top or bottom. Please don't introduce her as trans, as your girlfriend, friend, lady friend. Be sensitive to her understandings of maybe old friends, old family members, old co-workers. And just because she has an extra appendage, some of us may not. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some individuals that choose to want to keep it, and all power to them. You go, girls. For some of the ones that are trying to know that it has to be, try to be sensitive to that. Understand that it doesn't form a human being from what their gender is. Hormone replacement therapy can sometimes change thoughts and memory. Not all. There's some mild cases of this, so we just want to bring that up in case. And please, shower us with compliments. We need them because I find the more I talk to, there's already 86% depression rate going on in this community. Not that I'm sitting here like rereading statistics, but I know because I myself, from all the wonderful compliments I get, I know I'm my own worst critic. And even though we know that we need to, just like the great RuPaul said, if you can't love yourself, how the you're gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen? And amen to that, which is true. The other point was one of them that they mentioned briefly prior was another part of the question was, she says, much like in the video, we weren't your gay male guy friend. So, who just happens to shop with you in the same department? We are women. Sexuality has no bearing on gender identity. It doesn't mean that all our gender identity, are going to be in this direction. It's just, it's just bringing to light a little bit more education about that. And don't get me wrong. Remember, there's no stipulation here, and not all men, women, human beings even act anywhere near what I'm proclaiming. All I'm simply doing is sharing some advice from a few collaborations of some of their thoughts that we wanted to share. Be ready to commit. Be sure to do your research a little bit. I mean, I know you're probably getting bombarded with research already, and by this point you're just like, okay, I don't even know if I even want to anymore. Don't try to be with someone that you don't want if you're definitely uncomfortable. See if maybe there's someone you can talk to, like if you want to be able to feel comfortable around. We're human beings too, and I know sometimes it can feel intimidating. Kind of look at your time frames like you would with any genetic girl or any genetic human being of whoever you chose. Do you want to be married in a couple of years? You know, find support with your friends and individuals about your decision. You know, don't hang around with people that have got negative attitude. Be like, don't be doing that, and blah blah blah. You know, this is why I guess I don't have as many as I used to, because as you get a little older, you know, as one of my great friends said, a shout out to you, girl, the one that let me use this T-shirt. She knows who she is. Um, her father, you know, had great proverb and great words about sometimes in the end you end up just having one really, really good friend sometimes. Be careful of, you know, the type of individuals you really choose to date. And, you know, try not to label people. I know most people tend to have biases and are try to be quick to judge. Do your best to try not to have a biased opinion on it. Can you have a little bit of an open mind and ask a question about it, just like she mentioned in one of her first questions? You know, some of these, if you're trying to find individuals in this group, maybe try some clubs in the area. But, you know, obviously you don't want to come across as a tyranny chaser. Granted, unless you decide you want to embrace that, whichever, that's fine. Because sometimes we don't even know that someone's looking, because they won't even tell us. Speak up, please, because sometimes, you know, to call some of us old-fashioned, but we're not going to speak up, because, you know, sometimes it's hard to feel, we don't want to be intimidated either, and, you know, call us old-fashioned, but sometimes we would like to have someone approach it. The only problem is with that is it's kind of like sitting around and waiting, and you know nobody's going to knock at your door either. Not that I'm saying that. You know, realize that when you're out on a social event that, you know, you think, you know, it is a social event, and you've got to really build a strong friendship first. Yes, I know it sucks booty that you got to sit around and you got to wait. Yeah, it sucks. You know, to add a little masculine side there, you know what I'm saying? You know, I know it does. It sucks booty. I know. You know, leave a little for the date, a little enigma, but, you know, that's just a little bit I wanted to share with you real quick. I didn't want to elongate this too extravagantly long, but it needed a couple of different parts, because there's a lot really to cover there, and those that are truly wanting to understand, they'll take the time and sit back, relax, and enjoy this. You're going to grab a bag of popcorn and enjoy yourself for, you know, a good little 20 minutes. It's kind of like us, untouched, if you know what I'm saying. So thank you guys for giving me a little bit of your time. You know, it means a lot to us. And I'm glad I had a chance to collaborate with a couple of fantabulous ladies on sharing their views. And thank you, ladies, for bringing your views for us so that we could have the opportunity to share these. And I'm excited that I had the opportunity to do that. I'm glad that I could do that. And I'm glad, and I appreciate all the input and feedback coming in. We love you all, and we'll talk to you all soon. Ciao.